Hello and welcome to this webinar about approval flows. I'm very excited that you're joining us here in this webinar, and what you will learn is what approval flows are and how they will bring structure to your publishing process. First of all, a couple of practical announcements. Will take about 20 minutes. This part is actually pre-recorded, so I'm not live. However, either I and or my colleagues are live in the chat, so feel free to ask your questions as we are available to answer them. And also, this webinar will be sent to you on demand and continue to be available if you want to rewatch anything. We have an incredible expert with us today. Her name is Irem, and she also presented a webinar a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and I was so impressed that I asked her to come back to us. And she is the product owner at a product owner at Folion. She's responsible for everything in and around the dashboard, if I say that correctly. And yeah, I'm excited that she is joining us because she is the one that knows everything about approval flows, and even I will learn a lot today. So Irem, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you, and I'll soon fire the first question at you. But basically, approval flows, kind of like where does it sit? Why do we have it? We'll learn that from Irem, but Folion streamlines your collaboration and ensures that you can delegate with confidence, include more teams in the creation process of Folion docs. And that is while you always want to maintain the complete brand and security governance. And also approval flows ties into that promise that you're used to from Folion. Irem, again, great to have you. I was wondering, as you do collect a lot of feedback, look at the feature requests, what did you find there that led to the development of approval flows?
Thank you, Lobke, and hello, everyone. Thanks for having me back again. So to quick answer to your question, the core problem is that publishing, especially in larger teams, can get really chaotic. And you got multiple people working on content, but not everyone has the publishing right. And then what happens? The editors finish a piece, then have to ping someone either on their internal communications or maybe send an email and wait for a response and follow up again. And meanwhile, what happens? The deadlines are slipped, or even worse, something gets published without the right approvals. So teams are stuck using workarounds instead having a proper workflow in place. So there's no standard process and nobody knows what to do or who signed off what and when. And that becomes a serious risk. And especially when you're dealing with brand sensitive, legal, or compliance heavy content, we heard this again and again from our enterprise customers mainly, that they want to move fast, but they can't afford to have mistakes in the process. So the approval flow solved this by bringing everything into one place, and you get a formal and structured review process with notifications and permissions and optional checklist, in this case, all inside Folion. And this way, there's no more uncertainty and just clarity over control and what's being published, by whom and when, basically.
That's great. And I think you've already answered my next question. Basically, why would people, or why would you recommend that our customers use approval flows?
Well, with approval flows in place, you get clearer collaboration and more confidence in publishing, because everyone knows their role in the process. You'll spend less time chasing people down and more time creating great content. And this, without approval flow, it's a bit chaotic, but with approval flows, you can enforce that. Even people are a bit lost or in dark about what to do, the approval flow will help you get there. For publishers, it gives you more visibility and control over what goes live. And for creators, it removes the bottleneck and waiting in the dark process. And for admins, it creates a structure at a scale in that case. And it's especially powerful if you're managing multiple teams or brands or need balance with speed and governance.
That's great. Yeah, we had a customer advisory board session a couple of weeks ago, and indeed the manager of the graphic design team of a global consultancy firm, he mentioned how he would like to have more insight into what gets published by other teams. So I think approval flows will be a game changer for them to
Yeah, sure.
keep sight into what is happening. Great. So could you maybe just high level tell us, before we dive into the demo, high level, what is the approval flow feature?
So the feature we're introducing is called approval flows under the content governance, and it's all about bringing the structure and control over the publishing process. At its core, it does two key things. First, it lets users, especially those without publishing rights, to submit the docs for approval. So if you have a big team of editors or contributors, then you can now request a sign-off directly from someone with publishing rights without having to chase people in other platforms. And the second, you can set up a pre-publishing checklist, a customizable set of reminders or checks, so to say, that appear before someone hits the publish button. So think it's like the last minute quality gate. Did you apply the right brand kit, or did you check for typos? Or if it's a legal document, maybe you can introduce and include check this specific clause. And yeah, that's in essence what the feature is.
Great. I'm excited to see it in a moment. Before we do, I'd like to ask you all a question. So approval flows currently in beta and only to, at this moment, a limited group of our customers. However, we're very much welcoming more people in there, and very shortly it will become available once it's fully released. Please let us know if you'd like to talk with us about approval flows. We'll have a little check to see, is this indeed a feature that we'd recommend for you and your organization? And then we can immediately see if you're already able to get into the beta or use the, by that time, published feature. So please respond to the poll. Do you want to talk to us about approval flows? And then, Irem, I'd love to see this feature in action. So are you able to demo it to us?
Yeah, sure, gladly. Let's go. So let's start by setting things up as an admin. So currently I'm logged in as admin, and from the admin console, I will head to the content governance, and here's where you will find the new approval flow settings. So there are two options here that you can enable. First one is the publishing approval, and this allows users who don't have publishing rights to request publishing approval from someone who does. And the second one is the pre-publishing checklist, and this adds a set of custom checks that must be completed before any docs can be published. And you can enable just one or both, and in this case, I'll enable both. And next, you can add up your checklist items here by add a new check. And in this case, I would maybe have an example of that you want to follow the brand guidelines. So I would like to introduce these following checks. And maybe the last one, then we can maybe include a footer module to be added to all pages. So once everything is done, then you can press save. So now I have my document here, and I am logged in as an editor, as I said, that I don't have publishing rights. Let's assume she just finished working on this doc and is ready to go live, because publishing approval is now enabled. And now our editor actually will see a button that is called Submit for Approval button in the editor. And once I click there, I can see a list of users who can actually publish this document for me. So I will select those people from this drop-down. In this case, I will select myself as an admin, and I just hit the button request for approval. So this instantly triggers two things. An email notification is sent to the selected publishers, and a dashboard notification appears in their Folion account, and that is new. And so even though Sarah can publish herself, she's now part of a more smooth and structured publishing flow. So let's now switch back to Irem, who is our admin and publisher in this case. We will now, as an admin, can see a new notification panel where I can actually see Sarah just requested to review the document for me. So I can either get an email and notified, and in the notification panel that I can see what's been requested from me. And this way I can just click here and quickly access to the document in question. Here we go. I can now review the content, and if needed, I can use the review mode to leave comments for the editor, and they can come and correct the points that was raised as a reviewer. And once I'm happy, I can go to publish, and it's because we now also enable the pre-publishing checklist. I have to click each and every single checklist item here until the document becomes available for publishing. So once I tick all of this, I just press publish button and it becomes active. And now you can publish your document with confidence, basically. So that's all for the approval workflow in action. Okay.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for the demo, Irem. Just maybe high level to verify if my understanding is correctly, the checklist is for everyone with publishing rights to make sure those checks are done before publishing it, and requesting to get published is for everyone without publishing rights. Correct?
Exactly. So if you don't have a publishing right, then you request for an approval. And if you have a publishing right and if you enable the pre-checklist, that is the last stop that before you press publish, everything is in line with what needs to be done in that content to be out there confidently enough.
That's amazing. And then what kind of customers or in what kind of situation does someone's content operation need to be for this to be a feature that really is suitable, like would fit for them, and would solve their problems?
Yeah, sure. The size would definitely fit for teams that enterprise level, that you're working with multiple teams, multiple content, multiple departments in this case. And if you are working in, I don't know, certain industries where there are really certain risks that you don't want to take before publishing a content, right? So in this case, if your size is a little bit bigger and when things are getting chaotic, where you don't really not necessarily always on top of what goes out there, and you want to make that process a bit more confident and more in the sense of that I am very happy with the final content going out there is a par in the standards that we're looking for. So for teams like that, I think this feature will be great.
Yeah, so no more surprise publishes.
Exactly.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Irem. It's been really great to have you join us as an expert, and indeed, you know everything about this feature. Thank you as well for taking the time to prepare and show what it entails. For all of you watching us live or on demand, thank you so much for joining us. Indeed, if you would like to talk to us about approval flows and how this can best serve your organization, let us know. The poll is still open, and we will get back to you afterwards. What you've learned in this webinar is basically what approval flows are and how they can help teams stay aligned, how it reduces the back and forth, either in email or your messenger platform, to just get everything straightened out. Just in a click, you can request to publish, and it also prevents errors in the publishing, and just have that higher level of governance and quality. After this webinar, you will all receive an email with some more info. What it, for example, includes is the link to our next webinar, because we do continue with webinars, and it would be great to have you join in the next one. Indeed, talk to your CSM, tell your coworkers about approval flows, as they might also have a bit of an opinion, and you can all discuss it internally. And yeah, it would be great to have you at our next webinars. Thank you all so much for joining. It was great having you. Irem, again, thank you as well, and see you at the next one. Bye.
Thank you.